It all started when one of my closest friends stood before me as a suicide survivor. Greetings to everybody. I am Saakshi Hegde and I will be talking about depression. It was like any other day when I got a call from one of my old friends and she casually told me, I'm admitted in the hospital. I got all panicky and I asked her, what happened? And she simply replied, I had been suffering through depression for the past 3 years. 2 days ago, I swallowed a handful of pills, and if those pills weren't removed out of my body at the right time, there was a high chance of me not surviving. I was shocked to my very core. But more than the shock, I was drowning in a pool of guilt. What was the guilt about? Well, I was guilty because we were so close and yet I wasn't able to help her in any way. We were so close and I knew each and every secret she ever had. Still, I could not understand what she was actually going through. But then something struck me. She is not the only one who is actually suffering from this, but there are hundreds, millions and billions of other people who are going through the same. A lot of people ask me, you have never been through depression, then why to bother? That is exactly the problem. Why to bother? Why to ban cigars until it destroys the whole world? Similarly, why should one talk about depression until it takes over each and every healthy mind of this world, including yours? False. I am here to take stand for those who have lived with this big dark cloud overhead for years. For those who have pressed it in for so long that death seemed more peaceful than life and a bottle of pills became their only friend they can turn to. Somebody had once said, depression is like a broken leg. A broken leg which you hide it in for so long that it starts to kill you. And even after bearing all this pain, when somebody asks you how you are doing, you manage to build up a fake plastic smile and say, I'm doing great, when deep inside you know that you're not. Depression is not just feeling sad or lonely, but it is a disease of the mind, a disease of the soul. And like any other disease, it needs to be treated. And it is nothing at all to be ashamed of. But do you know what the biggest problem is? Most of the people out there do not know what depression actually is. Depression? हो मला पण हवंय ते. काय असतं ते नाही माहित, पण दीपिका पादुकोणला होतं ना, म्हणजे काहीतरी एकदम मस्त, एकदम ट्रेंडिंगच असेल ना. Sounds funny? Well, it isn't. Depression is something which is hidden, which is something which people are ashamed of. As one of my closest friends has been through depression, I have witnessed every stage of it. From all that I know, it takes a lot of courage to stand up, a lot of courage to make that voice inside you shout, I am depressed. But once you do, a huge burden falls off your shoulders. Depression is a wound, a deep wound which you had covered for years. But once you rip off that band-aid and you expose the wound, that is exactly when it starts to heal. But then there is another question upon which the whole world revolves, which is probably a universal problem. लोग क्या कहेंगे? मला वेडा वगैरह समझला तर? Well, लोगों को जो कहना है वो कहने दो. उनका तो काम ही है कहना. This is you. This is your body, and what is the most important is how you look at it, how you feel about it, and how you treat it. But let's face the reality, guys. When somebody finally decides to get up, finally decides to rip off that band-aid, we push them back and shut their mouth. Depression? Oh, it's just a phase and you'll move on. Psychologist? No way. Are you a maniac? Because only maniacs consult a psychologist. Just sit back and shut your mouth. Well, I just have one question for you. Do you tell a person with a broken leg that it's just a phase and they'll move on, that they don't need to consult a psychologist or they don't need to consult a doctor and they'll forget about it? Hey, my friend, I am telling you this loud and clear. Even though all those people are telling you to live with that broken leg and are stopping you from ripping off that band-aid, I tell you that there is hope even when your mind and your soul tells you there isn't. Bravery is not just sacrificing your life on the borders, but it is continuing to live when you actually wanted to die. You have to go through the darkness to appreciate the light, and whatever you had ever dreamt of is on the other side of fear. Depression is a black dog which follows you everywhere you go and feeds on the happiness and the best inside you. But what actually makes a difference is when you stop walking, turn around, and tame that black dog. And if you can tame that black dog, there is nothing at all in this whole world that you cannot conquer. So I would like to conclude by saying that what matters the most is how you are doing. Thank you and have a great day.